This is the Just Because Buzz, Thread Tales number 9, December 2nd, Wednesday. It's a bright sunny day here in Northwest Ohio. We have had some snow earlier this week, and so that definitely put us in the Christmas decorating mode, and so my daughter and I have been decorating, and that's been a lot of fun. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I was able to spend it with my parents, and we were being safe, but it was a smaller gathering than normal, but we did enjoy it and had some wonderful food, and so that was a blessing. Very thankful. But on to Christmas. So this episode is going to be all about Christmas, and I want to welcome you if you are a returning subscriber. Thank you so much. My subscriptions have inched up toward that 200 mark, and we hope to do a giveaway one day again soon when we reach that mark. And then if you are new to my channel, someone had joined this morning, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you for coming back. Welcome. I hope you'll like and subscribe as well if this is your first time. My last video, as far as a floss tube or a thread tails as I call it, was back in October. I did a tutorial in November, but have not done a update in my stitching and just my normal thread tails in about a month. So it's hard to believe. But anyway, so let's jump right in. I'm going to start with some old fully finished objects. This is before I got back into cross stitch. I had been involved in cross stitch back in the 80s and 90s, and then kind of went into quilting and still did a little bit of cross stitch here and there, but now quilting and cross stitching and doing some wool applique too, so you'll see some of that today too. This video might be a little bit longer than my normal 30 minutes just because I have so many fun things to show you. So I hope you will maybe grab something to drink and sit back or do some stitching while you're listening. I hope you enjoy it, and I will put as many links and notes and let you know how I did things as much as possible in the show notes too, so that if you have questions, you can either contact me or you could click the links. So the first thing I want to show you is a Christmas angel. It was found in a Leisure Arts publication. I used to get those magazines, and this was a Leisure Arts magazine, and it was a Christmas one, and I actually found a copy of it. I had apparently given my copy away or donated it, and I actually found a copy of it in the Malmy Antique Mall a while back, and took a photo of the front cover so I could tell you, knowing I wanted to show you this angel, so I could tell you where you could find it if you wanted to find it. And it's in the November-December 1987. And this is, I did get it without the glare, but this is the Christmas angel. And when I first got married, I was really into the dark burgundies and the hunter greens, and I just loved how this angel matched that decor, and so I was excited to stitch her a little bit closer. I've learned from this piece, just looking at it now, it is on linen. I'm not sure what kind of linen it is. I don't have any details on the back, unfortunately, but I can see some threads that didn't get snipped, and so they are showing through a little bit, but nonetheless, excuse me, I love this piece, and it's a treasure. So, and again, this is Leisure Arts, the magazine, November-December 1987. And there were actually 2 angels in that publication, and I stitched this one. So this hangs back in my office. The next thing I want to show you is called Deck the Halls Dresden plate, or Dresden Deck the Halls. I'll get it straight in a minute. This is the pattern. It is a combination of embroidery in the center, and here's the centerpiece that says Deck the Halls, and it's got some holly and this little vine there in the very center, and then you quilt, you do the sewing piecing of the Dresden plate, which is a traditional quilt block, and the backing is felt, wool felt. So my piece was using this charm pack. This is a very old charm pack, not available anymore, but this is the charm pack that I used. You may be able to find it on eBay or something like that, but as far as something being current, it's not current. It's a pretty old one. And this is the piece. And this morning I contacted Sandra, the designer of the pattern, and I was talking to her about something else I'm going to share in a few minutes. And I snapped a picture of this and sent it to her. And she goes, "Oh, I forgot all about that piece." And so she asked if she could share it, and I said, sure, I'd be honored. And so this may pop up on social media under Pine Needles, Utah, I believe is her Instagram. So love this piece. I've actually made two. When I was involved in the Enterprise Quilting Guild, when I lived in Alabama, we did a Christmas party the first December of every month, which was our usual business meeting. Was the first, I don't know what I said. I just said something really crazy. I know. I think I said the first December of every month. It was the first Thursday of every month is their business meeting. And in December, instead of having the business meeting, they had the Christmas party. I'll get it straight in a minute. Anyway, so we would do a Christmas exchange, and it has been everything from ornaments to table mats to mug rugs to wall hangings. And this particular year, I made one of these. And it's blanket stitched on the edge. And like I said, embroidered in the center. And then the wool felt on the back. Pretty green. Love this piece. Love displaying it. And I did ask Sandra if this pattern is still available, and she said yes. My pattern says Pine Mountain. She's now using Pine Needles as her name. So you would have to contact her through Pine Needles, I believe, now. So I'll link her below, and then that way you can check it out if you decide you want to get one. All right, so the next fully finished is another wool applique piece, and this was in the publication Holiday Crafts. It's a special publication by Better Homes and Gardens, and they have all kinds of crafts in here. Anything from wool felt to paper, so sewing. So anyway, loved the Santa. This Santa is actually done by the same designer. It's Bird Brain Designs. And this is the pillow that I fell in love with. And one year I asked for this kit. You could get it kitted for Christmas. And so this is what I'm getting ready to show you. Loved making this piece. So if you've never worked with a Bird Brain design pattern, or she also has embroidery, you should try it. Cute, cute things. Really, really enjoyed making this pillow. And the embellishments were so cute. Some little sequins and little beads. You can see the sequins across her hat. Her cheeks, I just put a little bit of blush on there. Again, some more embellishing on this hat and the little jingle bells. Just so cute. So one of my favorite pieces to put out at Christmas time, and can keep it out for winter time as well. So this is called Chili Chums. Like I said, it was in this special publication. Let's see if we can get the year for you. So that this was put out 2008. Holiday Crafts, Better Homes and Gardens. So 2008. Chili Chums. And like I said, the Santa on the front is also one of her designs. The next piece I'm going to show you is another wool felt, and it is by Vicki at Calico Patch Designs. She is in Moorhead, Kentucky, and this is her design. And it is such a cute piece. And I purchased the little rack that it's on when I bought the pattern from her as well. She sold the little racks. So it's got a little gingerbread at the top, cute little buttons, little beads at the bottom. I added the little bow, and then like I bought the little stand at her booth. I was actually at a little quilt show in Shepherdsville, Kentucky when I purchased this. They were one of the vendors there, and actually got to see them again this past March before all the shutdown. I was down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for a marriage retreat with my husband, and there was at the same time the Mountain Fest Quilt Festival, and so I went there one day while my husband went and got a massage. I went to the quilt show, and they had a big booth there, and it was great to see them. And she just has some wonderful designs and a lot of wool, and then she does some combination of wool and quilting in their quilts. Her husband is also very involved. He actually does a lot of machine quilting, and just a wonderful, wonderful couple, and love her designs. So check her out. And like I said, it's Calico Patches, Moorhead, Kentucky. Okay, let's see. The next thing I'm going to show you is by Happy Hollow Designs. It is the Stick Santa. And my friend Louise, you told me I've talked about Louise. Her real name is Wanda. Hi, Wanda, if you're watching. I know you probably will at one time or another. But Louise gets me into lots of trouble, but it's always good trouble. It's always fun trouble, too. Anyway, one day, Louise and I and a friend named Kathy, when we were living down in Enterprise, decided we were going to make these Stick Santas together. So we had kits, and we made this Stick Santa. Look at his little hat. He's got a little bell. He's got glasses and a little nose and eyes. And he has a nice beard. And his little belt. And then his little boots. So I checked to see the availability of the Stick Santa. And one of the very first quilt shops that popped up was Keepsakes, and they have the full kit. This little guy sits on a mailing tube, so you can see the bottom of it. So that's what helps him stand up, and they had the full kit. So you get the mailing tube, you get all the little embellishments. So it would be the beard, the glasses, the nose, the bell. I believe the buttons came with it as well. So I think it's $40. So it's pattern and the little embellishment kit, and then you would have to provide the fabric. But you could check with them and see what else you might would need. Oh, there are some little jingle bells up here too. So that's probably part of the embellishment as well. But this was a lot of fun. We had a great day. What a great memory of making this together with them. He stands up wherever you put him, in a little corner or out in the center of everything, or by a fireplace, or anyway, love him. So there's a snowman, I know, and there's some other similar patterns that aren't maybe stick, but table toppers. My mom has made a Santa table topper. I have a pattern for a scarecrow that I haven't made yet. Same principle. It uses like a fusible webbing 1-inch grid, and I'm having a little hard time finding that grid because that's what I would need for this scarecrow. If anybody knows a resource, I'd sure love for you to put it down in the comments, because I thought I had found a source and it turns out it doesn't look like I'm going to get it. I had paid for it and everything, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So anyway, cute. Love him. Love bringing him out every year. And then this is a tiny, tiny, tiny little way back stitch, probably in the 80s. Made a little pillow out of it. It's kind of rustic on the back. The front doesn't look too bad, although the fringe is not necessarily the same all the way around. But I think it's so cute, and it's great to put in a bowl. There's the back. Just a little messy. Anyway, I think it's pretty. Candy cane heart with a green bow. Can't go wrong with that. So cute. And then the final thing that's a fully finished object from way back is this Christmas apron. And I just found it, so I didn't get a chance to iron it. But it's on a piece of hopscotch. And it's this gorgeous quilt block. And I stitched that probably back in the late 80s. I don't know, mid to late 80s. And then my mom made it into this really cute apron. Christmas apron. My parents used to have a clothing store, and one of my favorite memories at Christmas time was Christmas Eve. We would do a big spread of food, and all the employees would have Christmas Eve dinner together, or as time would allow when you were off the floor, not helping a customer. And people would stop by and we'd invite them to come eat lunch, and it just was such a fun time. Oh, what a great memory. I remember one year, I think I wore this, and I was so proud of it. And anyway, I love that memory, and that my mom made the apron. So set it back there. Okay, so now I'm going to move into new fully finished objects. Doesn't necessarily mean the cross stitch piece is new, but I'll share with that as I go. So the first thing is the Lizzie Kate Joy, and this is a free pattern. I've shown you this as a finished project. I stitched it this summer on a piece of gray linen, and not sure the count right off, but made it into a little pillow. And I've shared the little story about stitching this and then realizing that I already had one of these made by a friend of mine. And I had found the pattern for it in my freebie folders that I used to get the newsletter from the Finishing Touch in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's where I found the pattern. And I thought, oh, I really like that. It's a Liz Kate pattern. It's so cute. And so I stitched it, and then I was digging through my Christmas drawer one day looking for something else and found that, and I'll show it to you here in a minute. But oh my goodness, that was kind of cracked me up. So here we go, and finished it using the Lori Holt tutorial. Many people have used that tutorial where you stitch all the way around and then cut a little slit here to turn your pillow, and then you kind of stitch that shut with just a little running stitch or loop stitch, and then you cover it with something decorative. So I took some wool felt, that pretty green that I also had on the back of my Dresden, had another scrap of that, and then mimicked the star on the front. I had a piece of wool felt that I was big enough to cut that star and put that on there, and then attach this cute little Christmas light oversized button. So that will go in a little bowl or something. It'll maybe sit next to my little rustic heart pillow. So that's one finish that I recently finished. And then the next one is going to be Bless Our Home. And this was finished on a ladle that I purchased at an estate sale earlier this summer. You may remember me purchasing this ladle. I saw it on a primitive table in the pictures before we even went to the sale, and I thought, oh, I'd love to get that ladle, and had no clue what I was going to do with it. And then this piece needed to be fully finished, and I believe it's a Dale Burdette. I don't have the pattern anymore. And decided to finish it in the round, and it is fully finished. It has a piece of fabric on the back, and then it has rickrack on the side. And then I decided to try to hang it in the dipper or ladle so that I could change it out. Since the ladle is red and white, I could use it for 4th of July, and so it's not permanent in there. And I didn't want to glue it in the piece anyway. Found these little pine cones, snipped them off a pick from Dollar Tree, or not Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and found this ribbon at Dollar General, and then this was some ribbon the green check I already had. So, just a simple bow. The green check is wire edged, and so is the little rustic burlap-y looking. So, bless her home. Really pleased with how that turned out, and loved the rickrack on the side. So if I ever decide to do something different with it, it does have a loop at the top, so it can hang on a tree too, if I ever just do something different with this piece. And one thing I want to share, people talk about cutting round ornaments and trying to get I did use sticky board for that with some batting. And people talking about, well, how do you get that shape so perfect? And I dug out some of my old Creative Memories templates and measured to see which one would be the best. There's several circles, and then there's some oval shapes, and used this to help me get a really good shape. The blade doesn't cut all the way through the sticky board, but it cuts enough that you can then take a nice pair of scissors and cut around and get a really nice shape. So if you have any of these templates around that you're in your scrapbooking, this might be a resource for you to try to get those more perfect circles for finishing your pieces. So the next piece is one that I was inspired to try using Priscilla and Chelsea's ideas with the magnet. This is a Hobby Lobby ornament that's a chalkboard ornament, and it's just a plain chalkboard. And this is what's on the back, the item number, if you wanted to know what that is. And then this is the little ornament. And I'm still learning how to do the magnets and get them where they will stay. I may not have a washer that's as strong as it should be, so I'm having a little trouble keeping it straight, but I'll keep working with it. And I just did a simple bow again using the Dollar General ribbon and a little bit of ribbon that's kind of gauzy. And I'm pretty sure this is a Dale Burdett cross-stitch piece. So I was pleased how that turned out. Very cute and simple. Okay, and then those are all of the fully finished things I'm going to show you with, let's see. Oh, excuse me. A couple more. Let's hold on. So you may have seen these on my Instagram. I purchased these milk glass containers and made some pin cushions, and you can use it to hold your scissors. So I made 2 of these. This fabric is by Joanna with Fig Tree Quilts, and did some rickrack on the side, a vintage button that I had found at a, I believe at a thrift store. And then another one. And so I really enjoyed making those pin cushions. All right, so now I'm going to move into things that I finished with cross stitching recently. Just make some adjustments here. So I'm going to go back a little bit with fall. This is Everyday Pumpkin-ing by Heartstring Samplery. And so I finished this piece. And so there's the one piece with the little girl. And then there's the second piece. So there's 2 pin keeps here. And then all day pumpkin spice every day. So mine's a little bit different in that I ran out of the dark thread. This was a little bit of a kit that she sent out with threads and the fabric, and I ran out of the dark thread. So I decided the everyday, I decided to do it in blue. I don't know, every day I think of blue skies, and so the blue was perfect for that. So and I finished that, and then I was working with Kathleen from Situation Normal on Pumpkins for Sale, and I finished it. She's worked on hers and done I think the boy and the cart, and she's put hers away till next year. She worked on it through Thanksgiving and then decided to put it away till next year, but I went ahead and finished mine. And this is my piece. So I did the DMC called 4 threads, and just really love how this turned out. Such a pretty piece, and we'll look forward to fully finishing it, finding the perfect piece to put it on. And the company is Stitches Through the Years. I didn't mention that, but that's the name of where you can get the chart. Okay, so the next one I wanted to show you is back to a wool felt. This is Frosty Friends. I purchased this pattern in Kansas City area, Prairie Point quilt shop, I believe. I'll have to link it below. But this is by All Through the Night, is the pattern company. Frosty Friends, All Through the Night. And this is the piece. A little cardinal and a snowman. And he does have some beads here on the snowflake. A little French knot, some lazy daisies on his hat. And then that cardinal looking down at him. Such a cute piece. I'll look forward to finishing this one too. Okay, back to recent stitching. At a thrift store recently, I found this magazine, just cross-stitch. This is 1984, November, December. And found a Prairie Schooler in here. And this was an article actually about Prairie Schooler, and it says in the article that they had introduced themselves about 6, let's see, Prairie Schooler introduced themselves to the cross-stitch world with 6 new leaflets in September this year. So I think I've heard people talk about 1994 being the year you have the first Santa, I believe. So anyway, grab a board here, it'll be easier. So I stitched both of these little guys and enjoyed that stitch, and just put the 2020 on the bottom and on the side. And it was fun to stitch this with this magazine, because the person that had the magazine, at least one other person that's had it already, had made little markings, and they stitched it in 1985, and they've marked it on the grid. And so it was just kind of fun to see that this magazine's getting used, and so they were fun. I used the called for colors. It's a DMC, and there's only 4 colors for both of them. So that was fun. So I'll finish them as ornaments. And then you all know how I like needle keeps and like having those little booklets to keep needles in, and kind of like them to be seasonal. So I have stitched a poinsettia, and I used some silks that I was gifted through Janine at the Blue Flower. I want to give away with her, and so I decided to try using the 2 threads. This is, let me pause it for a moment and get those threads. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back. The thread gatherer, and this is the silk that I used for the petals and the flower, and this is called Ring Around Rosie. And then this is the green that I used, and this is called Dark Forest, and it's again the thread gatherer. And here's the poinsettia, and then I added the gold. And I also backstitched in there using another DMC just to try to give the petals a little depth. So eventually I will turn this into a needle book. And it's interesting it's in this book because Michelle with Mama Loves You GB over in England just showed this book the other day on one of her, I believe it's on her FlossTube. And she was showing one of the reindeers that she's done. Let's see if I can find it real quick. She's working on this piece, and she mentioned that it would be a very long-term piece. But I thought it was interesting that she also had this book. This was a thrift store find book for me. So I was thrilled to get it. I think I got it for 50 cents. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put my hands on this. What it looked like in the book. And this is where it was used in the book. And so thought it turned out pretty. I loved using the silks. I've heard people talk about using silks, and so it was fun to use the silks for sure. But this is a wonderful book. I agree with Michelle. And this is a Leisure Arts publication. There's several of their Christmas books. This is 19, let's see, 84, I think. I had looked it up. 1993. Well, I was way off. 1993. So lots of great projects in here. Another project that caught my eye in here actually were these snowflakes. I thought they were gorgeous. They're on paper and they're beaded, but I just thought they were really, really pretty. And I have a red and white tree, so I thought they would be pretty. Maybe one day. All right. So the next project that I have finished recently is from Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. And if you follow her on Instagram, she is often being so generous and giving free patterns. And one of her free patterns was a Cup of Christmas Cheer Santa mug. And Cynthia with Stitching in the Light had mentioned stitching it, and I thought, oh, I want to stitch it too. So I contacted her and we've been stitching it. And I started out stitching it and cut my piece and realized, well, I probably did not give myself enough room. So this is my happy mistake. This is the border just made into a little square because I don't think I gave myself enough room to be able to finish it properly. So I put a little star that's similar to the star in her pattern and then put an initial C in the center. So there's my happy mistake. And then here's the finished piece. Such a cute piece. Really enjoyed it. I stitched it on a green. Not sure what kind of green it is. I think it's a Lugana, but I'm not sure. But I do like what color it is. I'm not sure you're getting a true color, but that's pretty close. So got to find the perfect piece to put that on. Thank you, Melissa. Such pretty, pretty charts and so generous to share free charts. All right, let's see where I am. Okay, now I'm going to share some miscellaneous stitching items from the past that I have. One of them is this cute Abby bag that I have made, and it's a pincushion, and then you can throw your trash or threads in here. And I have made probably, I don't know, 45 of these. I do have permission from the pattern designer to make them and sell them. I had written permission for that. And I have really enjoyed making these. And this Christmas one, this is using Mary Englebright fabrics. And I just love, I actually have it out all year. So cute. And then, let's see what else we have. These are finishes, just various little finishes that I've had. One year in our guild in Kentucky, we made these little ornaments. Just cute little hexagon ornaments, 3 hexagons covered in fabric and then glued together with a piece of ribbon. And then one year I found a tutorial, not sure where it is now, but one year I found a tutorial on how to make these little star ornaments. They're folded, so they little star ornaments. One year at my girls' school, I was asked to teach a little bit of a stitching class. So we did a really simple star and had the kids learn how to stitch an ornament and using a star. So that was just an example. Found this cute little pattern to make a mitten and used some glitter on it. Cute little bow and embellishment in the center. It's got like a little hanger, and it's actually batting, white batting. I love how that turned out. And then one thing I really enjoy doing too is making hand towels and doing embellishments. So you can find these hand towels that aren't very expensive at Tuesday Morning or TJ Maxx, places like that. Maybe get a bundle of them, and then you can come back and embellish them. So I put the snowflake and the fun trim on the bottom here. This is a towel that I actually need to get back to probably and do a little more to. I love the towel, and I did a string of trees on it. And I think I need to get back and maybe add some embellishment to those trees or do something. Just love this towel. So I like it like that too. And then this is a throwback cross stitch piece, Noel, and it's got some beading here at the top too. So, hi. So I was talking about quilting that I'm working on right now, and one of them is Old Tannin Balm. Old Tannin Balm is a block of the month from years back, and Louise and I said we were never going to quilt this quilt or make this quilt because two of our friends who were making the quilt at the time complained about it all the time, every time we got together for UFOs. And I was like, I don't want to make that quilt. And one was like, I'm not making that quilt. Well, guess what? Yeah. Wanda's already finished her quilt. Louise has finished her quilt. And Merritt has not. So Louise has given me marching orders to finish this quilt. I feel you, Laura. I know what you mean when Brenda tells you to get something done. So I've been working on it since she told me to get it out. I have made the center block, this block right here, and I have made this block right here since she told me to get it out. And now I need to cut out the next house block. There's two more houses. One goes up at the top and one goes over here, right there. And then there's borders, and then there's applique. So I want to leave you with an encouraging word from Jesus Calling. This is a devotion book by Sarah Young, and it is one of the best devotions. And so, real quickly, because I'm running out of time on my phone, I am the Prince of Peace, Jesus speaking. And one of the things she says is, my peace is steadfastly with you. When you keep your focus on me, you experience both my presence and my peace. Walk with me along paths of peace. Enjoy the journey in my presence. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again soon.